Another day, another Steam review. We have Black Myth Wukong with overwhelmingly positive 714,000. 700, 750,000. That's insane. Let's dive in. All right. Story, gameplay, music, graphics, just awesome. Didn't expect to see such a good game these days anymore. I love it. Truly a masterpiece. I agree. It is a masterpiece. It came out, I didn't have any performance issues. It just ran buttery smooth and it was a great time all throughout. I love it. 37.2 hours on record. It took me 41.8, just under 42 hours. And I didn't get the secret ending, so I need to go back. Oh, here we go. Chris of Chaos desperately needs a difficulty setting, and if you choose not to add one, you will just encourage players to mod the game with trainers instead. Graphics and story are very interesting, though. Is it because it's too hard, or because he wants it harder? I felt like the difficulty was fine. I liked it. It didn't make me want to throw myself through a wall like a Souls-like. But it was also kicking my ass. So, there was that nice balance. I appreciate it. All right, 57.4. Imagine coming home after a long 9 to 5, ready to unwind, and Steam download of this game is finished. You said, I've never played a Souls-like game before. This isn't a Souls-like, so you're good. How hard can it be? It can't be that bad, right? Wrong. This game delivers a master class in getting your ass whooped. I agree. It promotes you exploring. That second chapter, you come up to that wind sage. Oh my God. He will humble you in the most breathtaking of ways. You'll think you're doing good. Halfway through the fight, he'll go to phase 2. Oh my God, I'm almost done. Phase 3, you're done. You're done. He's on your ass. You're done. I promise you, you're done. And it's wonderful. You're like, oh, okay, I need some training. I need to go explore some other fights. I need to go get the relic. I fought him 3 or 4 times, then learned about the relic. So I'm thankful for that. Woo, 123 hours. Damn. Graphics, you forget what reality is. They are fantastic. Gameplay, very good. I agree. Audio. Yeah, the audio's good. I like his little, his little noises he makes when he fights. It's great. Audience, definitely adults. PC requirements. Is it rich boy requirements? I wouldn't be surprised. 16 gigs of RAM. Yeah, the GPU is nothing crazy, but requiring for minimum 16 gigs of RAM, I feel like that's not super common these days. So, yeah, you definitely want to run it on an SSD. Oh, I skipped it. All right, what do we got here? Difficulty, Dark Souls. It's not a Souls-like, but the difficulty is on the kind of level of a Souls-like. It's just difficult in different ways because it's not Souls-like where the boss can 3-shot you. The boss can do a bunch of different shit, especially the endgame bosses. The final boss that just counters everything. Oh my God. You're like, yes, here comes a super move. Ha! Caught that. It'll make you question the game you're playing. Like, is this Psycho Mantis from Metal Gear? Like, you're reading my memory card. You're reading my mind. That's what it felt like. Grind. Yeah, there's not really much of a grind. There's nothing to grind, I don't think. I mean, there's exploring and I guess grinding enemies. Not much of a grind. Good, lovely story. Yeah, the story's pretty good. It's not exactly hard to follow. There's obviously the deep lore that you could go read the actual story. But, I mean, surface level is pretty easy to follow. Game time, average. 40 hours for me. That guy spent 100. Is this the 123 hours? Yeah. I don't think that's average, dude. I think for a game like this, 30 hours would be average. 123? I mean, you probably replayed it, but price, worth the price, 100%. Bugs, minor bugs. Yeah, I didn't encounter any, at least not that I remember. Nothing that took me out of the game. So that's good. 10 out of 10. I would have to agree. Would I? No, I can't agree. No, it's not a 10 out of 10 for me. The story isn't there enough. It's not a bad story. It's just very like, again, surface level. There's not a lot of depth to it. Yeah, it's not a 10 out of 10 just because the story could use a little more. I'd give it like a solid 8.5, maybe a 9. It's a great game. The Stone Monkey, dude, you're fighting this guy. Beat the first phase, goes into the second phase. Beat the second phase, goes into the third phase. Then there's a fourth phase. Now, yes, when you replay it, it doesn't go through all 4. I think it goes through 3. But man, he just gets harder. And, okay, I won't spoil anything. That's a pain in the ass of a fight. Like, damn. I just finished the game and it's a solid 9 out of 10. I had a great experience. I agree. Oh, I got to start giving awards. We got to sauce this man up. Yeah, take some sauce. I love my sauces. I've got some sugar-free barbecue sauce. I've got sriracha. I've got this like ghost pepper hot sauce. I'm a sauce man. If it's a meat, I'll drench it in some sort of sauce because it only makes it better. Positive, great game. Went through 5 chapters completely. Really, wait, what? There are 6 chapters in the game. Went through 5 chapters completely? Like you 100% 5 chapters? Interesting. Wow, not a lot of negative reviews. That's crazy. I will be so surprised if this game does not get nominated for Game of the Year. I don't know if it'll win, because there have been a lot of games. I personally think Astrobot's going to win. I mean, listen, you might say, oh, it's a kiddie game, blah, blah, blah. It was 21 hours of pure enjoyment. Literally every second, up to the 100% platinum, was fun, was joyful, was exciting. Not a lot of games deliver that. Games have frustration or grind or, little bits and pieces you don't like, and it's okay to admit that. Astrobot was just fun mixed with fun with a nice, thick, meaty layer of fun. All right. Wow, visual masterpiece. I mean, yeah. A love letter to the classic tale and some of the finest combat of the year. The combat is fantastic. I love the combat. There is exactly 0 chance this is the review that makes you buy this game, considering there are 250,000 similar endorsements. Look at all the good. Okay. Let's look at some of the negative ones. Wait. Can you filter by negative reviews? Negative. Here we go. 40 hours. So he must have beat the game or got close to it. So this game is fun and I like it, but it has a massive issue with input delay. And input's not registering. Interesting. I'm not talking about trying to dodge while attacking. That is not the issue and makes the game more enjoyable in terms of timing attacks. Yeah, the perfect dodge is weird. It's just different. You dodge at basically when you get hit. It's almost like a parry. Like you don't dodge right before you get hit. You dodge as you're getting hit to get the perfect dodge. It takes a while to get used to. I'm talking about just standing still and doing nothing, jamming the button to use a potion and nothing happens, or dodging while not attacking and nothing happens. It is kind of crazy that no one else has been talking about this. It might be because you're the only one to experience it. Maybe. Here's a warm blanket. It'll help. I promise. It's getting a little chilly out. It's finally cooling down where I'm living. So thank God. I think I am blowing out the microphone a little bit. Hello? Okay, we're good. It is 1 hour, so you're in the first area. It is with genuine regret that I do not recommend this game, but because of a specific circumstance. If you have photosensitive seizures like I do, there's almost no level of adjustment to the graphics, which will make this benign. There's no warning. People will think just about flashing lights, but it's also about conflicting texture layers. I'm very saddened that I will not be able to play. Really? Interesting. I can't poke any holes at that. Like, if there's a lack of accessibility or lack of, warning for photosense, isn't that at the beginning of like every game? Hey, if you are sensitive to any sort of light or flashing, I feel like that's at the beginning of every single game. Wow. Interesting. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Because damn, it's a good game. Could you watch a playthrough? Is that something? If you're sensitive to this stuff, can someone tell me? If you don't play it, can you pull up a YouTube video and like watch it? I don't know how this photosensitive seizure stuff works. Obviously, I don't get them, so I don't know how it works. Could you like watch on a small screen with like less brightness or something? Maybe. Damn, I'm sorry to hear that. You know what? We're going to give him a warm blanket. You get a warm blanket. No. Let's give him something better. Okay, they need better rewards. You know, no, we're going to do a warm blanket. Yep. Moving on. Unlike most people who reviewed this game after 30 minutes and declared it Game of the Year, I actually played the game. 30 hours, 56, 40, 30, 15.6, 13.4, 27. I think a lot of people played the game, my guy. But we'll read your post. Okay. TLDR, which I have recently learned is too long, didn't read. Didn't know that. Fun at the start, gets repetitive really fast and overstays its welcome, with a bunch of glitches and graphical errors. Experienced literally none of that. Might be your PC. You know what? You know what would be funny? Is if Steam require... Oh, here we go. At least it has very little frame drops most of the time at a XTX 79 and an AMD. I can't speak on that. I have always used NVIDIA graphics cards. I've never used an AMD graphics card, so I don't know. I can't speak on that. Graphics and performance, beautiful, but also really buggy, crashed multiple times, and when moving my character. But I know the 3D cards are like some of their top tier ones, right? That's a pretty beefy card, the 7800X, I think. Constant silhouette of artifacts, which are really distracting. Interesting. Basically, this is a boss rush game. Dog. They said it was a boss rush game. Nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, that's what they advertised it as. Combat is pretty to look at. Basically stays the same for the whole game. You are wrong. It stays the game. It stays the same the whole game if you don't switch it up. If you don't switch stances based on the type of enemy you're fighting, which, if you pay attention, it makes sense to switch certain stances. And if you're using your abilities, the combat is not the same at all. Maybe this is why people hype it up so much, because it's fun at the start but gets boring real quick. I disagree. It only got more interesting because as you unlock more abilities, more things you could do, it got harder. So it says, oh, cool, you got more abilities. You better know how to use them. The other 5% are just frustrating to... Around 95% of the bosses are one-shot pushovers. That's not true at all. Which you will have forgotten about 5 minutes after killing them. The other 5% are just frustrating to fight because they are so badly designed, especially the later game fights, where every boss has at least 2 health bars, as well as transition phases that make them immune to you, but they will still attack you, which go on for far too long. I mean, kinda. A lot of the transition phases, I know one example, I don't know the boss's name. It's like the Buddha guy. He's the final boss of chapter 4. And he'll transition into like copper skin. And if you try and hit him, it just bounces off. But if you charge up, I believe it's at least a level 3, like heavy attack, it'll pierce his skin. And it takes a few fights to learn that. But if you fight him and never do that, then it'll make the fight a lot more difficult. So you got to experiment a little bit. They have a lot of similar... They do not have similar moves at all. Dude, did you play the game? Are you sure you played? The boss moves are so different. Like, incredibly different. Basically, every later game boss has a move that puts them above your head and makes them shoot a multitude of projectiles at you. Just very repetitive all around. Do they? I don't remember that. Also, the game would have really benefited with some sort of map. Now that I can get behind. Give this a map. Pronto. Now, again, exploration, I get it. But some people don't have the time. And you could say, oh, maybe you should play a different game. Sure. But you know what? Give us the option to switch on a map. Just like a little mini map to see where we're going. Just something. Come on. No Journey to the West, or don't bother trying to understand who the characters in the game are or what. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't need to know the story to enjoy the game. Or just to know, like, hey, I'm fighting people to get these relics to become the next Wukong, you know? Incredibly and absolutely terrible skill tree. It is almost always the best option to just take base, increase attack, defense, crit chance, crit damage nodes instead of the skills. No, it's not. Yes, you want to upgrade those, but some of those abilities are OP. Like the, what is it? The Thread of Many, where you spawn clones. If you fully upgrade that, it gives your clones the ability to freeze an enemy or use your abilities. So not only can you use your abilities on them, your clones can. Makes them super OP. It's definitely worth putting points into those. All right. The other negative reviews have been covered, most of it. I can just add that I too find the game very frustrating. Get good. I want to love it, but the poor combat design. All right. Getting locked into animations far too often, which punishes you constantly. Bonks my monkey brain far too often. Yeah. It takes a lot of strategic playing. The movement and dodging also feels very poorly implemented. It's just different compared to every other game out there, which I get is jarring. Like I said, that perfect dodge, it's as you're getting hit. It's not right before you get hit. It's like as the attack hits you. It's bizarre. It takes a lot of time. When you land a heavy attack, it doesn't feel rewarding because of the randomness. Sometimes you get interrupted, sometimes you don't. Yeah, what? You don't get rewarded when you get interrupted? Don't get interrupted. What? You don't do a heavy attack unless you know you can land it. What? Cannot recommend for AMD users. Okay, so it must be an AMD thing. Interesting. Okay. All right, this is a lot of negativity. So let's go back to the positives and see what we got here. Whoop, we're going way down. We're going way down. We're going deep. I definitely recommend getting acquainted with the project. At first, the game may seem superficial and rather ordinary with the usual boring gameplay. It's not boring. Who finds the gameplay boring? Like, what? Really? Starting from the second chapter, it reveals all its strengths. It is interesting to explore. There are many secrets. The combat system develops into a simple, crazy mixture of everything you can imagine, and a simply colossal assortment of various bosses. It's got so many bosses. It's great. Oh, and he posted links. That's funny. I think the game deserves more, and such a huge, large-scale game was made by the developers in just 4 years. Really? They made this in 4 years? Damn. That's impressive. And it's getting DLC. Look at this. I'm guessing it was negative, and then he went back and changed it. So far, I'm crashing during the tutorial. I've verified integrity of files, and now I'm going to try uninstalling, blah, blah, blah. On the bright side, from what I did get the chance to play, it's fun. And then edits. I've updated my drivers, uninstalled, and reinstalled the gameplays flawlessly. Edit to Monkey. Who doesn't love Monkey? PC specs below. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you were fine. Okay, you definitely needed to update the drivers because you've got a beefy enough PC that you're fine. It's great. It's great. What's not to love? 3.5 hours, ape together strong. Yep. That deserves some sauce right there. That is a saucy review. It's short, it's sweet, it's to the point. And I mean, you can... I'm sorry, what? If you are having issues... Oh, yeah. Dog. Nothing? Yeah. Right? Something. You don't get any sauce. Nope. That is a sauceless review right there. I'm disappointed. You're going to put a review? You put something in there. Finally, a Chinese game that is truly considered AAA. Excellent graphics, great audio, and enticing world and plot. Combat aren't the best I've played, but nothing short of. I mean, I like the combat. It's great. I love the staff. Man, yeah, it feels great. You battle legendary monsters with your very long stick. See? Short and sweet, and we can all relate. Fight big monsters with bigger stick. I love it. That's great. Now, we're going to end it on a saucy negative review, because I'm sure... Listen, these positive reviews are great. But I'm sure there's some. Let's see. This may. Oh my God. All right. Maybe the first time playing a Steam game that I've ever felt an overwhelming need to post a negative review. Oh, okay. I get this. Like, I understand this. Sometimes you just, something is so atrocious or so life-altering, you need to post about it. It is a shame that the current state of the game includes a major design flaw that ruins an otherwise stellar experience. I love that word, stellar. It is one that's so bad that I find it hard to press on playing after almost a week of playing. In the interest of fairness to the parts of the Wukong development team that actually did a great job, the following aspects are overwhelmingly positive, as listed below. Good stuff. However, the one team that absolutely did not live up to the level of quality that their peers delivered is the level design team. Not because the levels don't look good. They look stunning. Not because there is no map or map overlay. Okay. Not because of the cryptic steps required to unlock secret areas, all right? The killing blow to the experience for this game is the boundary design. Really? I already know what he's going to talk about. Invisible walls. It looks like you can explore there and you can't. You go up against an invisible wall. Game should have never been released with this level of lazy implementation of player boundary design. It is utterly inexcusable. Inexcusable. To price your game at the AAA level when it is clear that there was less effort put into player boundary design. My guy. I can confidently say I have never once ever put my life on this. I have never once saw a review, listened to, watch a review where any individual ever said, yes, the player boundary design makes this worth the AAA price. Absolutely never. In the history of ever. Ever. Okay? So you might be blowing it a little bit out of proportion. I get it. You want to explore. It turns out there's a wall there. Okay, you move on. It's not that big of a deal. It's really not. These issues are as big as you make them. Now, yes, the game not starting up. That's an issue. It crashing constantly when you've got a beefy PC. That's an issue. Okay. QA testing, navigating through levels in the game feels like walking through a 10 by 10 glass corridor where you never know if you're going to smash your face on the glass a few feet where a wall or drop in elevation appears, or if said change in elevation is actually a path of progression. That's why you just test it. Inconsistency between level visuals and level boundaries. Boss arenas often contain player boundaries, which do not also affect the boss. I mean, I know the Wind Sage does that, but that's probably part of the boss design. Boss arena boundaries sometimes seem to be a fraction of what the area appears to be. Okay. The ever-present level of inconsistency with visual indicators of game boundaries and the actual forced game boundaries make level navigation and exploration tedious at best. I didn't ever get this. If I try to run and I hit a wall, I just keep running elsewhere. And then when I hit another wall, I recognize that I'm not supposed to go this way, and then I go somewhere else. I guess. I mean, I don't know. Not exactly a deal breaker. 4? Holy shit. I didn't... 417 hours. Dog. Okay. Okay. That kind of invalidates your... I don't know. My game time is increasing even though I stated above that I would no longer play the game. Yeah. In reality, I'm working on a mod which requires having the game executable open in order to inspect and query game assets. I anticipate I am no more than a few weeks away from having that released and will post to Nexus mods. Okay. Okay. Still, 417 hours? God damn. 180 at the review time. Dude, that's still an obnoxious amount. 180 hours? Dog. That's crazy. Like, damn. Damn. Wow. What do y'all think of Black Myth Wukong? Did you enjoy it? I loved it. Haven't touched it since. I might at one point. Like, I typically don't replay games a lot. I'm kind of a one and done type. Usually. When it comes to, you know, single player games and whatnot. I like new stuff. I like experiencing new stuff. So I typically don't replay, but I'm sure at some point, you know, if I get bored or whatnot. But what do you think of Black Myth Wukong? If you want to see, you know, Black Ops 6 or the ever so controversial Dragon Age, the Veilguard Steam review, take a look at those reviews. I've got a video right over there. It'll pop up and you can go watch that because that definitely had some juicy reviews. Like, I'm sure you can imagine they were pretty entertaining. And of course, go down, do all the YouTube things, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think of Black Myth Wukong. Was it too hard? Was it too easy? And you're like, listen, I want nightmare difficulty. I want to feel pain. Give me more. Let me know. And you have a good rest of your day.